back to the IBJJF Podcast. My guest today is Levi Jones-Leary. Levi has a super fight coming up at the IBJJF Flow Grappling Grand Prix. He's going to be taking on Jonathan Alves, and we're really excited for that matchup. Levi, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me on today.
Yeah, of course. So, Levi, you've been competing a lot recently in a lot of opens and at all the major tournaments, but I'd like to go back a little bit and talk about your career in the colored belts. Like, can you talk a little bit about some of the titles you won into the colored belts and that transition into the black belt ranks?
Yeah. Basically, I started training when I was 15, and after a couple months, I was doing like really shit in school, really awful. And after a couple months of training, I basically just decided I was gonna do jiu-jitsu for my career. It was sort of like just an excuse I could tell people just to make it seem like I wasn't doing, nothing with my life. So I was like, I'm not gonna go to school, Mom. I'm just gonna go train instead. And my mom was always very free with me. Like, if I didn't want to go to school as a kid, she'd basically be like, you don't have to stay home just in case you go and you regret it or some shit like that. But I pretty much started training full time at this local gym. It was called Garage Jiu-Jitsu. And I was really inspired by a lot of people like the Meow Brothers and stuff, and just a lot of the people that were embodying that thing of like working really hard and achieving your goals and stuff. Because I didn't really know that before jiu-jitsu, like how to get something you wanted, just to put a lot of effort into it. I never understood that concept really, and jiu-jitsu kind of taught me that. And then so I just started training like a lot, as many hours a day as I possibly could. And then I think it was 2014, as a juvenile, I saved up some money to go for a trip and do a camp at Cabrinhas. And that was my first time sort of experiencing like a high-level training room and that high-level environment, and sort of what it took as well to, be at that high level. So I got third at Worlds as a juvenile in the blue belt. And then the next year in 2015, I saw Unity was opening, and I got a job delivering furniture and saved up, like $4,000, I think it was. And I went over to stay 3 months at Unity. And, that first 3 months was pretty crazy. Got Unity'd, like the first time you go to Unity, especially back then when it was at the old academy, your body has to like adapt, when you first go into there, because the training sessions with anybody that went to that old gym can tell you it was pretty nuts. It was something special about the room being so small, and the sun hitting it or something, and Marilla always closing the windows and the no ventilation, that made everything so much more terrible and claustrophobic and nightmarish. And yeah, I lost a tooth. I still haven't gotten my tooth back. I'm still missing a molar. Got my cauliflower ears in. And pretty much after that 3 months there of just like working really hard and stuff, Murillo gave me an opportunity to live at the gym and just basically sleep on the mats and work at the gym a bit, cleaning or assisting with some of the classes. And from there, once I got the opportunity, I just started training all day at Unity, and I started getting better and better. I wasn't able to win much, I would win some of the opens, I won a couple Nogi Pants titles at Purple Belt. But I think my last year at Purple Belt, after being at Unity for a year and a half, I was able to win the Pans at Purple Belt, and that was like the first major I ever won at the color belts. I gotten sort of close before, but was never able to win a major in the gi, the color belt. And then that was the first time I kind of thought I performed really good, and I was really happy about it. And then again, I lost it. I lost at Worlds, and it wasn't until brown belt that I really kind of came through and started competing really, really good. You know, like at brown belt, I think I only lost one match, and I won uh, Europeans, Pans, and Worlds. And I think it was just consistency over time. Just losing so much just made me. I would just train more and more and more and more and more. And you know, when you fail like that, it just makes you. You have to fix something and then try something else, and that doesn't work. You fix something, try something else, and finally, I kind of found a rhythm and found stuff that was working, and it was all really good. And then that kind of carried on until my first year at black belt, and it was a great year. Still, obviously, I failed, you know, here and there, but overall, it was a really good year. And then COVID happened.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that 2019 year at black belt, because you made such a seamless transition from your brown belt success into your black belt. You won Europeans, obviously had that big win against Lucas Lepre, who's a legend, a Hall of Famer, and then you won the Pans. What do you think helped contribute to that transition from brown to black and made you so successful?
I think it was a few things, like obviously just the continued focus for that amount of time, and then also um, a very good mindset, and just being sharp in general. Um, I was also had a lot of confidence from a lot of the mental work I had been doing, you know. So pretty much I would always be visualizing daily and seeing myself as, you know, the best in the world, you know, like untouched and unbeatable, and just continuously seeing myself in that way until it, you know, when I got there, regardless of what's going to happen, you know, I had that confidence where I was just seeing myself as the best. And you know, that makes a big difference, you know, because you know your mentality going into a tournament is, you know, one of the probably 90%, you know, of what's going to happen. So yeah, that was felt like the real secret for me, um, and what was, you know, what gave me the ability to go in there and just be like, nah, fuck these cunts, like I'm the best, you know.
So you had such a great 2019 season. Then, like you mentioned, we had the global pandemic, which was tough for a lot of people around the world in every industry. And then you came back after the pandemic ended, and you started competing a lot in a bunch of local competitions. What was kind of your mindset behind jumping into all those smaller tournaments? And do you think that helps you prepare for the bigger ones to be so active? Because you're still active to this day, always doing regional opens and doing really well in them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, during the pandemic, you know, my focus sort of shifted because I was like, is this even worth me putting this energy into it anymore? Like, am I, you know, because it takes a lot having your mind always in that position of just thinking I'm the best, you know, just keeping yourself maintaining that sort of that goal, like that one goal, you know, that you have to live with if you want to be at that level, which is basically, you know, I'm the best in the world, and everything you do every day has to be towards that. And during the pandemic, you know, I lost a bit of my focus because I didn't know if jiu-jitsu was going to return. You know, obviously, at the time, at some points, it didn't seem like it was. You know, and it was a solid 2 year break. it was like the first break I'd had from jiu-jitsu in a while. I had 3 months off of training. Um, and then I came back to training in June of 2020, but I was suffering from a lot of anxiety during the pandemic, a lot, and mostly anxiety. Just that was the main sort of issue for me, and it was really bad until for a while, especially through 2020. But I kept like my training up. I was still training every day. After that 3 month break I had, I was still training every day, but my focus was other way. You know, I was putting my focus into, you know, delving more into like art and you know, just different creative outlets, because I sort of felt like jiu-jitsu had been sort of taken away from me a tiny bit as a creative outlet. And you know, after the break and after everything started coming back, I started getting my motivation back again, because my main goal has always been to become a black belt world champion, you know, and that's the reason I started the whole journey. You know, that's what I would, you know, sort of visualize every day, is becoming the best in the world, proving it as proving it by becoming a black belt world champion, and you know, that's always been my dream. So it's this year has sort of been a process of me sort of coming back to that realization of my dream, which is there, and you know, going back to putting everything and living for that thing again of being the best in the world. And you know, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, because because of the focus I lost, you know. So failure is the secret to success. So I was just willing to put myself out there and basically fail and fix things and do whatever I need to do to be you know, the best in the world. And that's sort of the process that I'm in right now. So just competing as much as possible, getting a lot of experience, just doing whatever I need to do.
Yeah, you're definitely back on that path now. I'm glad you got through some of the struggles that a lot of people experienced with 2020 and the pandemic. And
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about your 2022 season and just your assessment of it overall. You did the Pans, and then you also competed at the Worlds. How would you assess those two tournaments and your performance in each of them?
You know, honestly, I don't. I'm not happy with my performance at the tournaments. You know, so they were just like Pans was okay. At Pans, I just only had one match. You know, and you know, I thought it was a good match. I thought I fought good during that match. But this year in general has just been a lot of fixing of mistakes, and a lot of sort of obsessing over jiu-jitsu and trying to just fix every hole and try new stuff and just find out the best sort of route to take going forwards into next season. But I think especially Worlds was a very good learning experience for me. That's sort of what, you know, every time I took an L, I'm just kind of getting more and more motivation, you know, just to work harder, focus more. Yeah. So it was a good lesson, I guess. But let's see how it's gonna look once these mistakes are fixed.
Yeah, you had some great matches, like you mentioned, only the one at Pans, but it was a submission. It was a really beautiful match. Had some great matches at the Worlds, and now you're going to be having a super fight with Jonta Alves, who's obviously one of the best lightweight competitors in the world. He won the Pans this year for, I believe, the third or fourth time. He's been competing really well. What did you think when you first heard that you were going to be competing against Jonta, and how do you see the match playing out?
I mean, yeah, it's great. I guess he obviously beat Andy at Pans. It was a pretty close match, but he still got the win. So whoever's better or whoever's ranked higher, that's the person you want to beat, because to be the best, you gotta beat the best. We fought last time. It was a really close match, but it should be lit.
A lot of people are commenting that this is a classic guard passer versus guard player type of match. Do you kind of see it the same way, where you're going to be playing on bottom and Jones is going to be trying to pass your guard?
We'll see. Yeah, he might. They do play very smart with the strategy and stuff. So who knows? He might just stay on bottom and try to get me to come on top and pass. Who knows? I hope he comes on top and tries to pass, because that'd be cool. I think he's someone I could probably get Xanadu guard going on, because the Xanadu guard works good on like stocky people that just want to stay on their knees and sort of keep their butt low to the ground. So hopefully he comes on top. I think that would be the funnest match for everybody if he comes on top.
It's definitely a match that everyone's really excited for, and you guys are both two of the top lightweights in the world, so it's definitely going to be an exciting match. Definitely can't wait to see it go down. I also wanted to ask you about the male GP. We have a medium heavy GP. Do you have any thoughts on that? We have Leandro Lowe, Andre Porfirio, Ronaldo Jr., and Matias Luna. Any predictions or any thoughts on how it could potentially play out?
Leandro's is gonna whoop him. He's gonna whoop them all. That's what's gonna happen.
Did you get a chance to watch Leandro at the Worlds this year, win his 8th world title? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool, right? Because he had sort of fallen off for a minute. He wasn't getting the dubs, and then he came back and still got it. Still winning it. It was really awesome.
I'd love to get your take on the female GP as well. We got Natalie Hibero, Fionn Davis, Anna Rodriguez, Bianca Basilio. Pretty much for the top women in the sport right now. 3 of them won the Worlds in 2022, and Natalie won 3 major titles, so it doesn't get more stacked than that.
That's crazy, yeah. Yeah. Super excited for that one for sure. It's really, really, really crazy, exciting bracket, and some matches that you couldn't see, anywhere else really. So yeah, definitely really excited to watch that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be great. The whole event's so stacked. Like I said, we're super excited for you and Jonathan Alves. Did you have any closing thoughts before we signed off?
No, yeah, just watch the match, and if you like how amazingly good I look in my gi, then hit me up, DM me. I've got a few left, and next batch will hopefully be out by the end of the year. We're working on some other stuff right now, including just more apparel and stuff. But yeah, DM me, Xanadu God, hit me up if you want to look better than everyone else every day.
Thanks again, Levi, for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're really busy with your training and with everything else you have going on, so it means a lot to me that you took the time to do this, and definitely for everyone. Absolutely, and thanks for everyone for listening. Definitely check out the Grand Prix event. We got the medium heavy GP, the first female GP, and the 2 super fights, including Levi versus Jonta Alves. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will catch you guys for another episode soon.